All right, that is some important opinion coming in on the November jobs report. But with that, let's also bring you the final update of our global market wrap this morning. For Europe, we saw quite a mixed close on Friday. So the French CAC index was down around 11 points. The German DAX index saw a gain of around 40 points. And the FTSE, like you can see on your screen, was absolutely flat, just around 2 points in the red. The German exports actually fell 0.6% month on month in October. So this is versus the figure that we saw in September, twice as much as what analysts were expecting. However, the country's trade surplus increased as imports were down 3.7%, which is greater than the forecast of a 0.4% decline. So that is some important data to track as well from Germany. But that's everything that we're tracking globally. Let's talk about everything you should watch as we get into a fresh trading session. So we have Nigel, Vivek and Vahishta joining us now with the trade setup. Guys, a very good morning to all of you. And let's kickstart by talking about all of the cues that we should track today. Vivek, Friday was finally a down day after 8 straight good sessions. How is it looking this morning?
Well, good morning. Absolutely right. Friday actually saw some profit booking by the bulls after, as you mentioned, 8 straight sessions up. Now, coming by, what exactly to look for in this particular week, a lot of important data points would remain in focus. Going by, how the global handover has been, very mixed cues. You saw the data coming in from the US as well. So, Dow Jones as well as, the other US indices and largely flat. So, giving mixed cues from there. Even European markets largely along similar lines, very mixed in terms of, the kind of handover they've given. Gold prices, have cooled off slightly from the 4-month high that they were trading at. And after, the news coming in from OPEC Plus saying that, they continue to maintain the same production. Again, you've seen quite a bit of volatility and quite a bit of an uptick in today's trading session as far as crude oil prices are concerned. Now, coming closer home, some important data points to keep an eye out for. Number one would be the RBI policy, of 5 to 7 December. So what is the trajectory of the rate hikes, and the commentary there would be very important to track. Coming to the primary market, some strong subscription data from Unipar's IPO, almost over 25 times oversubscribed. And today, you have the S&P Global PMI services data as well. So keep an eye out for that as well. It'll be interesting to see whether Indian markets, especially broader markets, continue to outperform the benchmark indices in today's trading session.
All right, let's see how that pans out. For now, it looks like the start will be mildly higher at least. So let's see how we move from there. Let's also talk about the individual stocks that could be in focus in today's trading session. And we have Vahishta to fill us in on an entire weekend's worth. Vahishta.
Hi, Pavitra. Good morning. Let me start off with SBI, which raises 10,000 crores via its maiden infrastructure bond issuance. Moving on to some of the cement stocks, which are expected to be in news today. First is Ultratech Cement, which has commissioned a grinding unit in Maharashtra and in Madhya Pradesh. And with this, the total cement capacity in India for the company now stands at approximately 120 million tons per annum. JK Cement has also commenced a clinker production on the 3rd of December with an installed capacity of 2.64 million tons per annum. Moving on to Adani Ports, which has their monthly update out for the month of November. The company has handled 25 million metric tons of total cargo, which means a year-on-year growth of 6% in container volumes and 2% in dry bulk cargo. For the initial 8 months of the ongoing financial year, the cumulative cargo volumes grew 9% on year-on-year basis. So some positive news there. Next is Dilip Buildcon, which has executed a contract agreement with the Gujarat Metro Rail Corporation on the 2nd of December, which includes a project cost of 702 crores. And the last stock on my radar is SVJN, which has backed a 200 megawatt solar power project. Back to you.
All right, Vahishta, thanks a lot for that entire list of stocks. Let's also get you now the cues that we're tracking from the futures and options space. And Nigel is here with all of that. Nigel.
Well, morning. On Friday's trading session, you had the Nifty that ended down by close to around 100 points odd. But you look at the 3 indices that come up for you on the screen, and I'll say that it was the best trading session of the week. And that's because the breadth of the market looked pretty good. Now, by the end of it, you were saying, what's happening in the F&O market? Well, the Nifty futures as well as, the Bank Nifty futures, the open interest out there did see some shedding. So you think there was some unwinding of long positions. And that's precisely what the case was. If you're looking at the long positioning, well, from the FIs table, that was down by close to around 28,000 contracts. They added some shorts as well. So they continue to remain net long on the index. However, the long positioning has come down from around that 75% to around 66% odd. You like some shorts in the system. In case those flows dry up, then, the short covering could take place from a bullish perspective, which takes us higher. Now, on the index option side, well, they bought more than 1 lakh contracts and they bought more calls than puts. However, what's telling you that at higher levels we're likely to see some bit of a resistance is the way they aggressively are writing calls. Even in Friday's trading session, they wrote 1.7 lakh shares on the call side, And that's in the ratio of most 10:1. So at higher levels, you're expecting to see some bit of supply. Which are the active strikes? Well, 3 strikes were very active. 18,700 call, 18,800 call, and on the downside, the 18,700 put as well. So you're assuming, going by the premium out there, well, there is more writing that's taking place at that particular, at those strikes. On the Nifty Bank as well, normally it's not very, very active. But in Friday's session, there was one strike, the 43,000 contract. Well, that was very, very active. You had close to 23 lakh shares that were getting added out there. Some signs of writing out there. The 43,500 mark has been a bit of a hurdle for the Nifty Bank. So let's see whether it gets past that. On the Nifty, last week's high, that becomes a bit of a resistance zone, while support comes in at around 18,600 because we've seen writing at around that 18,700 odd mark. SGX Nifty suggesting we start in the green, buy the dips is likely to continue. Back to you.